Peace and blessings to the family. It is me, Coach 67 Sports TV. Shout out to the awesome and amazing LDBC, Lions and Boxer community. Just shout out to the family. Shout out to Jaguar Nation, the greatest university in the world, the Southern University, home of the mighty Jaguars. Right now, this is a special edition of the Midnight Hour of Power. Breaking news: Southern University has one of the top recruiting classes in HBCU football. Of course, Light on Sports they have Jackson State ranked 1, PV ranked 2, Southern ranked 3 in terms of recruiting classes. However, that's only when you take into consideration high school players coming into college. This is not taking into consideration the players that Southern brought in through the transfer portal. So in this particular recruiting class, Southern University has 26 incoming freshmen. However, when you take into consideration the entire recruiting class, like I counted 40, I think 46, 47. However, from my understanding, I think they like in the 50s. So, I plan on being here for a good time, not a long time. I appreciate everybody that's going to watch this later because, a midnight hour power version of the live stream. They went live the other night from TJ Ribs. And, you had a variety of different coaches, Ben Miles, CJ Johnson, Todd Light, Anthony Balancier, former Southern University defensive back, now assistant coach. So let's go over some of the players that Coach Falk and his staff brought in. First, you got Javon Matthews. He played at EA, offensive lineman. Offensive lineman Charles Humphrey Jr. He was going to go to Mississippi State, but they were able to flip him and bring him to Southern University. Offensive lineman Zuri Madison. He went to Arkansas. He transferred from Arkansas State. Offensive lineman Trinidad Wilson. Essentially, Southern was in the top 2 between Southern and Oregon State. Southern was able to beat out Oregon State to land Trinidad Wilson. Athlete Khalil Davis from Omaha, Nebraska. Tight end Isaiah Pena. Tight end Aiden Valdez, transferred from New Mexico. And tight end, I can't pronounce his name, but he transferred from Mississippi State. This kid is 6'9", 250. Man. They got wide receiver Dejon Smith, transferred from Louisiana Tech. Oh, he a dog him out. And a lot of these players, they showed footage of them while they were at TJ Ribs. They got wide receiver Floyd Jones from Etna Carr. And that's one thing they talked about on the show, too. We talked about it last night on my brother Jared Lovin Green channel. If you didn't watch HBCU Fanatics last night, go check it out. Of course, HBCU Fanatics is more of a wide overview in terms of HBCU football, whereas my live streams are Southern University centric, specifically Southern University. But, we talked about Etna Carr, how Etna Carr has emerged as a powerhouse here in the state of Louisiana, and Southern University brought 4 players from Carr. So they got a wide receiver from Carr, wide receiver Damian Henderson. He played football in the state of Georgia. They got athlete Wendell Clark Jr., won the non-select Division One title at Washita. I'm not gonna lie, this kid, he's very athletic. They got a couple kids from Washita, pretty athletic players, you know what I'm saying? They got athlete Khalil Champ Davis from Nebraska. They got running back Macario Davis. He an Olympic qualifier in the 100-meter dash. Woo, that's speed. And then, of course, they got the quarterback Mario Lippman, who played high school in Kentucky. And then you got Vashon Tikuyon, quarterback in St. Aug, one of the top quarterbacks, in the New Orleans area. Go to the defensive side real quick. Defensive back Devin Duplessis played at John F. Kennedy. You got free safety Avery Johnson, multiple sport athlete. Uh, Free safety Ray Hines Henry played at Carver. Safety Tommy Anderson played JUCO ball in Houston. He's from Baton Rouge. You got linebacker Santonio Acevedo, transferred from Diablo Valley College. You got linebacker Hunter Shakenberg, played high school football in California. Linebacker Chad Jones Jr. played at St. Aug. Linebacker Sean Garcon played high school ball in Miami, Florida. You got defensive lineman Victor Hollins, played at Madison Prep. I'm not gonna lie, this kid was a dog at Prep. And then lastly, you got Justin Lagarde, who played at John Curtis High School here in Louisiana. So for the most part, that's the list. But overall, I mean, Southern had a pretty impressive recruiting class. Let's throw it to the chat. Man, salute to your boy Jay. SU in the building. He said, salute, coach. Go Jags. I'm going to say it. This might be the best recruiting class Southern has had in a decade. Plus, unbelievable talent is on this team. Oh, without question. And I mean, we not even consider some of the talented players that Southern already had on the team, like Trey Holland, Barry Remo, who was also in the building. Salute to my brother Jared Love Green. He got the salute emoji. Like I said, if y'all hadn't watched HBCU Fanatics from last night, man, go check out last night episode of HBCU Fanatics. Your boy Jay said they never announced wide receiver Charles Robertson, transferred 3-star from Louisiana Raging Cajun, but he's here too. Yeah, and that's the thing. When Light on Sports ranked Southern, the third best recruiting class in HBCU football behind Jackson State and Prairie View. The thing they didn't realize, like, Southern got a lot more players coming. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have more players signing in the next few days, but like I said, if you just look at the high school players, you got like 26. But if you look at like the other list, on Southern IG page, I counted like 46, 47. So Southern University brought in a lot of players. You're right, Man, salute to my brother Desmond Allen. He said, "What's going on, my dog, Coach 67? Go Jags. Them boys looking good." Oh, without question, I'm not gonna lie. This is a very impressive recruiting class. You know what I'm saying? Salute the time to be men. He said, "Man, we will be good this year." Oh, big facts, big facts, big facts. I'm not gonna lie. I was thoroughly impressed with everything I saw on social media, and just, I had a few people send me, like my brother Desmond Allen, and my school coach D, shout out to coach. Basically like multiple people sent me the when they went live the other night. So yeah, your boy Jay said this team will be extremely fast, straight speed everywhere. And that's the thing about it. That's one thing they talked about. They wanted to improve the team speed. Clearly, they did that. And in addition to that, a lot of these guys have extremely high GPAs. We got guys with 4.6, 4.7 GPAs. So these guys have high football IQs. And in addition to having a high football IQ, these guys have a lot of speed. So, it's going to be a new look Southern University team. They brought in a ridiculous amount of players. Man, salute to the brother Big Reg, Big Boy Talk. Salute, Coach. Man, salute, Big Reg. Appreciate you coming through, fam. Man, shout out to my brother Jay Good. Man, salute to the fam. And a lot of conversations we have on HBCU Fanatics, and a lot of conversations we also have here on this channel a conversation that Jay Good and I have behind the scenes. You know, Jay Good played ball at Southern. You know, live in the great city of Dallas, great state of Texas. You know what I'm saying? Salute to the brother Jay Good. Your boy JC Ben Miles breaking down how he does recruiting was so refreshing and eye opening. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was kind of good. That's one thing we always talk about when it comes to Southern University. You know, just from an athletic standpoint at large, it's like they've been synonymous with having a lack of transparency in certain areas. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you got to divulge all the information on everything and break everything down to the T. But certain things I think they could be more transparent about. And it was kind of refreshing to see him do that. That's an excellent point. Man, salute to EA. He said, Coach, a lot of SWAC schools went into BR, took talent, including FAMU. Well, not just FAMU, Grambling. I mean, you're right. And that's the thing about it. Like, I said this on HBCU Fanatics last night. Baton Rouge is a talent-rich area. Baton Rouge is a talent-rich area. The state of Louisiana is a talent-rich state. And there's no way Southern University could just say, you know what, we're going to put a gate around Baton Rouge and we're only going to play with Baton Rouge players. I mean, Coach Falk and staff, they recruited well locally in terms of, getting players from Etna Carr, getting players from Catholic High. That's one thing Jaguar Nation and Southern University fans like myself has been saying, hey, you got to go get players in Baton Rouge. They did that. You got to recruit the I-10 corridor well. They did that with players from Etna Carr. You got to recruit the River Parish region and the Bayou. They was able to bring a player from EA. So they recruited all the areas I wanted them to recruit. They recruited regionally. You get a player like Mario Littmer from Kentucky. You get a player from North Shore. You was able to recruit the Midwest in terms of the city of Chicago, and you was able to recruit the West Coast. So they were able to recruit Baton Rouge, the I-10 corridor, state of Louisiana, getting players from Washington. They was able to recruit regionally players from Texas, Kentucky. In the region, they was able to get players from the Midwest, players from the West Coast. So for the most part, they pretty much ticked off every box from a Southern University standpoint. But in terms of Baton Rouge, there's no way you could put a gate around Baton Rouge. And, I said this last night on HBCU Fanatics also. Like, had over the years, you had so many players, whether we talking about, I think Alcorn State has kind of been the biggest offender to me. But you have players from Alcorn State, players from Grambling, players from PV, especially, moving away from the Bayou Classic, because you're going to have guys from Baton Rouge that go play for Grambling and, play against Southern Bayou Classic. But I'm talking about the players from Baton Rouge that come to AW. Alcorn State has been able to get a lot of those players over the years. Prairie View has been able to get players like that. Jackson State, FAMU. So you're right. I mean, realistically, I talked about this on HBCU Fanatics last night. You was able to get a lot of players from Baton Rouge all over the SWAC. And not only that, even when you look at the LSU aspect of it, there have been players from Baton Rouge to go all over the SEC and come back to Tiger Stadium and hurt LSU also. So I think that's one thing that you really kind of have to live with at this point. You're not going to get every elite level player in the city of Baton Rouge. We're just going to pretend, even if every elite level player in the city of Baton Rouge either went to LSU or Southern, there's still going to be some hidden gems that's going to slide through the cracks and go to other SWAC schools. Like I said, like an Alcorn State. To me, he's kind of been the most synonymous for it. Prairie View, Jackson State, whoever. So you're not going to get them all anyway, but that's an excellent point. Time to Be Men said, I hope we keep Vince Page. He is a dog in linebacker. No, I think Vince, myself and my brother Jared Lovin Green. No, I'm not Jared Lovin. I'm sorry. Myself and Jay Good, we talked about this behind the scenes. It kind of seems as if like Kelby Givens and Vince Page Jr., Vince Sullivan. To me, it seems like at this point, I guess I don't know if it's this past season, just being such a bad season left a bad taste in their mouth, or the fact that they just really want to see if they have the goods to go play on the next level in the NFL. But both of them seem pretty content in, making that leap to the next level, especially Kelby Givens. Jay Good sent me some good footage and video of him like working on his pass rushing technique and him getting ready for the NFL draft. I mean, even if he don't make it to the NFL, it seems like he just won't play professional football. And I wish him well. I mean, he served Southern University well, both him and Vince Page. Vince Sullivan, he had a lot of injuries, injury issues this season in terms of being able to fight off injuries, trying to fight off injuries. From what I understand, he tried to play through, but, he just was nicked up a lot. Not just him, but a lot of players on that defense. But I wish both of them young brothers well, and I hope they thrive and they succeed, Desmond Allen said, he said Southern takes talent from other SWAC cities and states. That's new. Yeah, that's definitely a valid point. Your boy Jay said Mike Franklin went and got healthy and stayed. I was for certain he was going to leave. Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, man. Salute to Casio. Casio and I was talking about that earlier. Casio Odell, salute to him. He was saying that, man. We all were saying like Mike Franklin, oh yeah, he done. But once Coach Falk came through, it's like, nah, I'm gonna stay. So I don't know if he just saying, hey, I'm hurt and I can't make it through the rest of the season. You pointed it out, a couple other people pointed out. They're like, nah, Coach, I think he done. But Coach Falk came through. Hey, EA was saying, I think Mississippi Valley signed 4 players from BR on Wednesday. Not only Valley, but Grambling signed some players from Baton Rouge too. In fact, they got a big offensive tackle from Madison Prep. Southern got a defensive lineman from Madison Prep, but Grambling got the 6'8" offensive lineman from Prep. And of course, like I said, Prep is a powerhouse in the city of Baton Rouge when it comes to not just football, but sports in general, in particular basketball too. And CSAL was the feeder school, is the feeder middle school for Madison Prep, and they're synonymous for going to, championship every year, this, that, and the third. I had issues with them trying to steal players from me, even though at the time they had all the best players in middle school. I mean to myself, bro, you can't get every single elite level player in the city of Baton Rouge to play for your middle school, Your boy JC Southern went heavy, California and New Orleans. Yeah. Man, salute to Adrian Crook. He said, EA, so everyone from BR ain't as good as y'all think. Playing in those little boy playoffs. Yeah, and Crook has been like heavy on this from a standpoint of a lot of those guys from Baton Rouge and just Louisiana in general. If you playing 3A football or lower in Crook's eyes, like it's little boy football to him. So, if you played at a 1A school, 2A school, 3A school, to Crook that's little boy football. So he don't give you props for that, you know what I'm saying? Time to be men say Chicago was good to us this year too. Oh, big facts. I'm not gonna lie, they got a lot of good talent from the city of Chicago, and of course I got family and folks from Chicago, but they ended up moving to Texas too. So, man, salute to my brother Big Joe Townsend, always standing on LDBC business. For y'all that like to engage and indulge in a alcoholic beverage or two, be certain online to go get you a bottle of Old Hillside Bourbon Company, oldhillsidebourboncompany.com. Go check them out. Adrian Cook said, which one freshman class ranked? Well, according to Light on Sports, they had Jackson State 1, they had PV 2, they had Southern 3. I think they had Alabama State at 5, and I think they had Howard at 3. So yeah, so that's how they ranked it. Yeah, they got Jackson State 1, Prairie View 2, Southern 3, Howard 4, Alabama State 5. But like I said, that is just that's just incoming freshmen, high school players. That's not considering that's not considering, the players that they got in the transfer portal. And, talking to somebody behind the scenes, I don't know how he would know that, but he was like basically, Southern top 3 when it comes to like, incoming freshmen. However, he was like, if you look at, a lot of these players that's coming from, some of the other programs in terms of the transfer portal, he was like, he basically he was saying that he thinks Southern got a better recruiting class than them. I'm like, well, I don't know. We'll tell, once the season starts. To me, it's kind of too early to tell. I was good at evaluating talent on the middle school level, but not so much college. So I can't say that, you know what I'm saying? EA said, Crook, stop telling on yourself. Time to be men say, that's going to happen. You can't stop that. Oh, without question. And then not only that, even if, like I said, even if you got players that's in your city or your state, you can't keep, you ain't going to get every elite level player. It's not going to happen, And, we always talk about Carr. I remember one year, like Carr had like literally players all across the SEC, all across the SWAC, and all across the country. And they had like, I think 20-some D1 players in that one class. And Southern didn't have like not one player from Carr that year. So at the end of the day, ain't nothing you really going to be able to do with that. Getting 4 starters from that elite Carr team was amazing. I don't think we could have gotten a few years ago. And that's what I was saying. Because even when, I was looking at on Hulu, I was looking at Algiers America. Like, the one player that really kind of got the dynasty rolling for Carr was the quarterback, and he ended up being, I think, a wide receiver at Alcorn State, and he was gonna get a tryout for the New Orleans Saints, and he got deleted 2 weeks before his tryout. It was tragic, but like I was telling you, but that class a few years ago, like they had literally like 20-some D1 players, and Southern couldn't get one. Crook said EA dumb. He said didn't exist when I played. I played big boy football. Yeah. It wasn't as watered down when Crook played, everything was together. They didn't have the select side and private school, public school league and all that. Like, it was it was just, before they kind of watered it down a little bit. And like I said, like he make a valid point in terms of, elite level football in Louisiana is, even though I feel like you get players 1A through 5A, but, big boy football, he does make a point. If you're trying to get some dogs, you won't go 4A, 5A, type football, you know what I'm saying? Tyler Big Man say, Crook, what's up, my G? Your boy Jay say, Sean Garcon is taking Vince's spot. All right. I think he'll be a good plug and play player. Crook say I will be in Jackson this time. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Myself and Cashier was talking about that behind the scenes, like you know, especially depending on what the funds look like. I definitely plan on going to the vet, you know what I'm saying? Time to be mentally ready for this season. Oh, big facts. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm ready. I was telling Cashier when, we don't know when the spring game gonna be, but it's usually like that second, third week of April. I'm really looking forward to the spring game this year, you know what I'm saying? Your boy Jay say Charles Humphrey may start day one. That dude is a dog. I see why Mississippi State wanted him. And I mean, that's the thing about it. For Southern to flip players from flip a player from Mississippi State and from Oregon State. Yeah, they're doing their thing. Crook said, so no Corn Valley, Graham, or FAMU. Yeah, all right. He said that's the BR boys we talking about mostly. Yeah, that's pretty much, they recruit BR too, so those pretty much the teams. Jay Good said there's a lot of legitimate freshmen, dynamic freshmen that have the ability to play early and often. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, you and I talked about that a lot behind the scenes in terms of, man, I'm not gonna lie, this is a hellified recruiting class, especially from having athleticism, speed, having multiple dynamic players that can both help you in all three phases of the game in terms of definitely from a special team standpoint and both offensively and defensively. And more than anything, I think, they talk about how they got a lot of smart players in this particular recruiting class. You got guys that have high football IQs and guys that just smart in general in terms of having like, 4.5, 4.6, 4.7 GPAs. But the team speed aspect of it is one thing I'm looking forward to in terms of, Southern hasn't had the kind of team speed that you would like in a long time. So having that team speed jump up, hey, that's one thing I'm looking forward to. You know what I'm saying? Desmond Allen said, Coach, what games are you going to this season? Uh, it, that's another good question. Cassio Odell and I, we talked about that earlier. And for all intents and purposes, of course, I'm always going to do all the home games because we have season tickets. I'm definitely going to do the classic. Of course, those 6 games kind of shoe in. I'm gonna try to hit one of them 3 H-Town games, maybe PV, but more than likely, the way my schedule looks, because I got some other stuff going on too behind the scenes. More than likely, I'm probably gonna do the Texas Southern game in Houston, and I'll probably do the Jackson State game at the Vet. So that'll probably make up my 8 games. But if I get the bread right where I want it, I'm gonna try to do every last one of them. But that might be a little bit of a stretch. And I wouldn't mind go to Alabama State game also. So if I get the bread right, I'm not gonna lie, I'll go to all the games. Adrian Crook said, man, moving down that gets easier for you after 40. Yeah, it does. And see, that's why I was saying on Jared 11 Green channel, when he was talking about how dominant Evangel and how dominant John Curtis was, when I was going to Assumption. I'm like, yeah. But to me, I understand that they might not have had the number of kids, but for all intents and purposes, Curtis had like a school built around the football program or a school built around athletics. Man, they should have just took Evangel and Curtis and stuck them in 5A off the flap. I think Curtis wouldn't have been as dominant if they'd have been playing 5A and Evangel would have been playing 5A off the rip, you know what I'm saying? And, when we talk about just talent-rich areas, somewhere like St. James, St. James is closer to home for me. But St. James is like a legitimate school, and it's just a talent-rich area where they really don't have to recruit players. Whereas, we know certain schools are synonymous for recruiting, whether we talk about the Catholic Highs, one of my football players, well, he didn't play football for me. He played for the South Baton Rouge Rams. He played basketball and he ran track for me. His 7th grade year, he was at my school. His 8th grade year, he ended up going to Cali. And, he just started running back Cali High now. So the point I'm trying to make is, whether we talking about Madison Prep, whether we talking about Cali High, whether we talking about John Curtis, certain schools are synonymous with recruiting. Those schools, if you got that kind of competitive advantage, I think you should just play just 5 years off the rip as far as I'm concerned. Your boy Jay said, those 2 kids from Monroe, we got straight dogs, insane speed and agility. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest with you. I expect the special teams to make a huge jump because Southern hasn't had an elite level punt and kick returner for a while. We've had guys like Danny Johnson and Ezra Landry and Willie Quinn and Fred Bailey and Kenyatta Sparks. I'm looking forward to Southern getting an elite level punt and kick returner. Adrian Crook said J facts. Yeah, big facts. Time to be men said. He said, I don't know what 3A like now or 2A. He said, man, back in the day, both of them had a lot of. No, I'm not gonna lie. It did have a lot of talent, but when you are 5A school and you playing, some of them smaller schools, that's why you get a team like Prep. Hey, that's why they're able to do certain things, but especially when you talk about, teams like Catholic and Zachary, whoever, certain programs emerging. Definitely Carr, I'm not gonna lie, Carr is just like a football factory at this point. But at the end of the day, certain schools, they just, they got talent 1A through 5A. I said that, but 4 and 5A is, when you got more numbers, when you got the talent and you got depth, that make you a much tougher team in the state of Louisiana. And I'm not gonna lie, like at this point, it's kind of like a numbers game. Like I remember one of my players that played for me at Capital Middle, they went to Capital High before they merged Capital High and Capital Middle. And guess what? Capital High and Baker playing against each other. And Capital High had 25 players. I'm like, dude, football is a number sport, especially in high school. What you gonna do with 25 players? Like, man, it's hard to play with 25 players. Man, salute to Joseph Dave. He says, sup, coach, 667 Sports TV. Man, I'm blessed and highly favored. Salute to your fam. Adrian Crook said, time to be men. He said they was all small, still are. Well, I'm not gonna lie. Now, at the time when I was going to Assumption, we was 5A. We ended up dropping down to 4A, my sophomore year. But truthfully speaking, like Donaldsonville High School, of course, it helped the fact that they had two players that ended up making it to the NFL with Jarvis Green and Howard Green. And then you had Jason Green. And that particular team, Donaldsonville High School, had several D1 players on that team, like Wilmer Landry, those type of guys. Michael Landry ended up coming to Southern. So Donaldsonville High School had they were 3A, but they had just as much depth as us at Assumption, and they had more talent. And the crazy thing about it, as good as that Donaldsonville team was, they couldn't even beat St. James. And the crazy thing about it was, until my senior year at Assumption, we hadn't beat Donaldsonville High School in 11 years, and then had to beat St. James in 15 years. And I think after I left and came to Southern, my sister was a senior. She graduated with Tremont and Brandon Jacobs, and I think Brandon Jacobs in the senior year was the first time that Assumption had beat both Donaldsonville and St. James in the same year in 15 years or something crazy like that. But you got to realize all the talent that Donaldsonville and St. James had, and both of those schools were 3A schools. So I think it just kind of depends on the team, Crook, because guess what? Donaldsonville might have been 3A, but Donaldsonville was loaded, and St. James was even more loaded than them. So that's why St. James, makes so many deep runs every year in the playoffs. Now, after they won that state championship, and I think after Valdez left, there was a little bit of a drop-off. They still don't win the state championship since then. But that's just a talent-rich area. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, time to be men. You saying the same thing I'm saying. That's not all the time. That's why I'm talking about Donaldsonville and St. James when I went to Assumption. Those teams were just super loaded. You know what I'm saying? Even though they were 3A, to me, numbers-wise, it looked like even though we was a 4A, 5A team at Assumption, it seemed like they had just as much players as us. But not only that, but they had size and they had depth to go with the talent. You know what I'm saying? So, I think you make a valid point, Crook, but I think some teams kind of defy that, and I think St. James kind of been, synonymous for that. You know what I'm saying? Tyler B. Men say some of them smaller schools better than big. Yeah, and that's the point I was making about St. James and Donaldsonville. Yeah, they might have been, smaller than us at Assumption, because I'm not gonna lie. If you look at Assumption High compared to St. James, and Donaldsonville. It's a bigger school, but certain years both of those schools are loaded from a talent standpoint. So yeah, Jay Good said Coach Johnson was saying he has a personal relationship with Coach Brown from Carr, pipeline in the making. Yeah, because he said he volunteered coach there at a certain point. I think recently. So yeah, so that that's definitely gonna that definitely helps you create that pipeline. EA say, Coach, you scared to come to Bragg this year? Man, I'm not gonna lie, EA. If I had the kind of cheese that I really, would want, like we would all want, because I mean, I'm not ungrateful. The Lord done blessed me to where I done moved up to being an administrator from an education standpoint. But, some of my people that got like plant jobs, they probably making, 25 bands, a couple of them making double what I'm making. Hell, if I did kind of cheese, hell, I would. Of course, I have more free time at my disposal because, I'm not working shift work like they working in the plant. But at the same token, if I was making the kind of bread they was making, hell, I'm not gonna even lie, EA. I'll make every game. I ain't talking about just the home games. I'm talking about every last one of them. So uh if I had the kind of cheese I wanted, EA, oh man, shit. I wouldn't mind coming to Bragg. So I think it's more monetary. I gotta kind of pick and choose. But if the channel was where I wanted to be, if the cheese was where I wanted to be, EA, trust me, I'll make every game. You know what I'm saying? Your boy JC, we did get one Colorado player, wide receiver, Ronald Coleman. Apparently, he was cooking Colorado defense in practice for 2 years, but barely ever played. Man, that's crazy. To me, I don't know. I done heard stories about, scout team players just dominating and not being able to touch the field. So, I don't know what's up with that. You know what I'm saying? SU Jag 20. Say, slow down, fellas. Man, salute to you, SU Jag 20. He said, they have a lot of work to do defensively. All right. Crook said, time to be men. He said, I was a 195 pound running back as a freshman in high school. He said, they small. see, Crook, the thing you keep passing up. Dude, you was a 195-pound running back as a freshman. Dude, I was 190 pounds my senior year at Assumption. So from a side standpoint, you don't realize you was abnormally huge for a freshman. You know what I'm saying? Joseph Davis said, good to see Coach Falk hit Louisiana, especially Metro New Orleans hard. Yeah, big facts. SU Jag 20 said the DBs and D line really concern me. Offense will be better. Well, I'm not gonna lie, that's one thing about it. SU Jag 20, they got a lot of linebackers, bro. So I think with all those linebackers, I mean, I think some of those guys might be interchangeable on the defensive line. Some of the DBs, I think they're gonna be better from a defensive back standpoint than you might think. Trenton, time to be mentioned. Trenton Holiday came from a small school. He said, "Well, I played at Northeast High." All right. Adrian Crook said, time to be men. He said he was on our bench at Baker. All right. Time to be men said, man, when 8 played, I got tired of whooping up on y'all. All right. Adrian Crook said, time to be men. He said, I lost 3 games in high school. Well, I'm not going to lie. That Baker team y'all had was loaded. You know what I'm saying? Time to be men said, y'all in Glen Oaks. All right. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Now Glen Oaks was a powerhouse at 1.2 now. Your boy JC, DBs don't worry me because Brister, you talking about Herman Brister III and Eric Reed Jr. are back, and the D line got bigger and stronger. People forgot we had legit starters from a few years ago get hurt who didn't play this past season. Yeah, I don't think Eric Reed Jr. played any that I saw this past season because I never saw him. So I think he might have been hurt the entire season. Adrian Crook said, time to be men. He said, who you played for? All right. SU Jag said, you will need more than Bristol and Eric Reed Jr. The DB room is weak, and our D-line last year was atrocious. We didn't improve that room. Coaches will need to develop. All right. Joseph Davis said, how many O linemen and D linemen from 2025 are being brought back? I would think not many. Well, I'm not gonna lie, just from what I'm seeing, Joseph David, you know, a lot of people just focusing on the 26 players like that's incoming, but they got more players in the portal. So I think this class is bigger than people think it is. You know what I'm saying? Time to be men say, Northeast High, I played in the 80s. Woo! All right. Crook said, time to be men. He said, I played in the national championship. I'm the option fullback. All right. Time to be men said, I was friends with Jerry Braxton from your way. All right, Jeffrey Braxton. All right. Crook said, time to be men. He said, you good people. I like Northeast. Never lost to them, but I like all right, all right. He said we played against each other for a long time in Brighton school. We still friends today. All right, that's a SU Jag said we will go from 2 wins to probably 6 this year. The next year after that one will be the breakout year. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Your boy Jay and I, we said the same thing. The previous live stream. Essentially, I think the bar I say is right around 67 games for Southern because they brought in a lot of talent, but they brought in a lot of freshmen too. So I think the bar is gonna be 6 or 7 games in my personal opinion. He said, "Time to be men." I played Brett Bandits in the Rams. Yeah, the last elite level player I coached in middle school, Crook, played for the South Baton Rouge Rams. Desmond Allen, he said, Coach, what you think about that first game against Alabama State in Birmingham? Honestly, I think that's a winnable game, despite what people might think. I think the fact that a lot of Alabama State fans, they banking on the fact that Andrew Body coming back. But this the thing about it. I think a lot of those skill players, in the past, I felt like Eddie Robinson, his Alabama State teams were more defensive minded. This past year, they were more offensive minded. A lot of those players not going to be back. So it's going to be interesting to see. I know, according to this list, Light on Sports, they're the number 5 ranked HBCU recruiting class. So it's going to be interesting to see, how much weight Andrew Body could carry. You know what I'm saying? EA said, Cook, he said, man, I saw your 8-man football team. He said, stop bragging about rushing for 1,000 yards against Lil Hunter and Lil Colin at linebacker. He said, Lil Hunter and Colin at linebacker. SU Jag said, Desmond, Bama State will whoop our behind. He said, Bama State will be a top 25 team this year. Woo! Wow. We'll see. I mean, I think that's contingent on Andrew Body being able to stay healthy. And not only that, it's going to be interesting to see if the NCAA is going to give him that extra year eligibility that he's trying to seek, Time to be men say the Bandits was in Scotlandville, I think. Joseph Davis said, the tight end 6'8". You said 265. I saw 255. He said, might be the next Harold Carmichael. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. A 6'9" tight end in the SWAC, man. Adrian Cook said, EA, I played against the LSU Stars. Foot, LOL. He said, I played against the LSU Stars. All right. Your boy Jay said tight end room is on par with running back room. Having a 6'9" tight SEC tight end with 2 6'6" guys backing him is crazy. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna lie. that 6'6", that 6'9" tight end, he gonna be a problem. Him. Adrian Crook said, I played against West Monroe, John Curtis, Ruston, Neville, and Coach School. So you played against Assumption, Neville, Ruston, Curtis, West Monroe. I'm not gonna lie, Crook. Y'all must have had a loaded team to play against all them heavyweights. Assumption, Neville, Ruston, Curtis, West Monroe. Man, I'm not gonna lie, y'all had a savage schedule, Crook. Dang, bro, y'all must have had a hell of a fire team. SU Jag said, you guys really don't get it. That 6'9" tight end isn't good. If he was any good, he'll be playing power 5 or power 4 football with that size. All right. SU Jag said, you don't fall to a SWAC school with that size. All right. Time to be men said, I played at Mother's High. We beat Baker, Glen Oak, Zachary, and others. All right. Crook said, Coach, we beat your team. Yeah. You told me that. I think who did Brad Hill was a star running back. Brandon Jacobs was a star running back that year. It was one of them two. Either that was after I left, that might have been Brad's senior year, or that might have been like Brandon Jacobs' junior year or senior year. One of them two, Crook. Man, salute to the brother Anthony Bolton, Mr. Memphis. Man, salute to you, Anthony Bolton. Salute. Time to be missing Northeast High. In fact, I had a a job interview at one to be the head football coach at Northeast High at one point. Yeah, they had me wait like what? I think they had me wait like over an hour. Hell, they made me wait longer than the interview actually was. That was insane to me, you know what I'm saying? Your boy JC, he was ranked the #1 JUCO tight end last year. That kid is good. He was just a part of a loaded tight end room at Mississippi State SUJ. All right. Crook said, Coach, I was running and singing. He said they can't tackle Chrome. We well, I was grown by that point, though, Crook. I mean, I let him like my junior. I didn't even get to play my senior like them, but so I mean, it is what it is, you know. SUJ 20 said Carr is top heavy. Not every kid that play at Carr is a dog. He said all the good players from Carr go power 4. All right. Crook said, he said when y'all stop all that striking, he said I'm coming to brag. All right. EA told Crook told EA, he said, y'all looking like aunties. All right. Your boy JC beating out Oregon State for Trinidad Wilson was huge. He said that old line would be crazy. Oh, I'm not gonna lie. The offensive line heavy, the linebacker heavy. So they heavy at certain positions, you know what I'm saying? SU Jag said, your boy Jay, he said I can be you any type of money. Tight end was ranked #1 because he has size. No way a 6'9" tight end can actually play football with fall to Southern if he was good. Too much NIL money out there. All right. Man, salute to Nathaniel Frank. He said, what up, coach? Go SU. Man, salute to your fam. Yes, sir. Go Jags. You know what I'm saying? Adrian Cook said, I ain't sitting next to EA with all that sassy stuff. All right. Adrian Cook said, EA promised not to strike. I'm coming. SU Jag said, the best DB we bought in was the kid from Washington. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Them 2 players from Washington, I think those players both talented. You know what I'm saying? Adrian Cook said, Coach, he said, He got a point. I got tired of whooping Glen Oaks. All right, all right. Well, I ain't gonna lie. I think by the time you y'all played against Oaks, Glen Oaks had fell off by that point. Crook to me. You know, it wasn't like when he had Eric Randall and Ted White. You know, they wasn't that Glen Oaks team. You know, Crook said EA. He said you can't help yourself. You just gotta be a auntie and strike. Your boy Jay said he picked us to play. Some kids don't care about NIL money. They just want to play. He was ranked the best JUCO tight end for a reason. SU Jag 20. All right. Time to be men say, I disagree with the win numbers. I think we will be better than what people think. Well, you know, I'm one of these cautiously optimistic type of people. Time to be men. I just kind of want just that gradual progression. You know what I'm saying? Adrian Crook said, time to be men. He said, I got y'all 3-8, as always. Time to be men and say that young quarterback state 7 is on it already. SU Jag said, your boy Jay, he said he was only ranked that high because of his measurables. All right. And every kid cares about NIL money, according to SU Jag. He said when the school pays you 12 to 15K a month, you're taking the verse, nothing from a swag school. EA said, Coach, did that rule pass allowing up to 8 games played and still raise shirt? I know they was trying to. I think it was up to 9 games and you could still raise shirt, which is crazy to me. Jay Good he brought that to my attention, and he was saying that was insane. You could play 9 games and still raise shirt. That's crazy. Your boy Jay said we're gonna revisit this when the season start, and that kid is the starter. LOL. Coaches love that kid. All right. EA said I asked a question, man. Brandon. All right. Your boy Jay coaches only love him because of his size. When it's time to put and pass on, I bet his route running is terrible and his hands are bricks. Woo! Oh no, I'm not gonna lie. Hey, Brad Hill was a beast. You know, I knew he wasn't gonna go to Southern because he didn't fit the Pete Richardson archetype, but but Doug Williams wanted him, so I wasn't surprised he went to Graham. That mother thing was a misprint. All right. He said, man had 200 at halftime. Oh, no, I'm not going to lie. Hey, he used to run the ball about 40, 50 times a game, Crook. It wasn't nothing for him to get 40 carries in the game. Your boy Jay said, okay, we will visit in September, LOL. Yep, I'll definitely remind you all, just like I called this past season would be worse than stump years. So what's your I'm getting ready to go take care of some other business. But before I get off, SU Jag, what's your win total prediction for Southern this coming season? Time to be men say crickle wild dude, LOL. I'm getting ready to shut it down like the next minute or two. Time to be men come on, y'all be thinking it. time to be men say cook you on one tonight. Joseph Davis said, wow, SU is signing. Class looks nice. Coach Falk still needs a punter. I still think they need an experienced quarterback, too. But he said he going with Littmer and what the other kid name is Vashawn T. Couillon. Your boy Jason Kawan Davis, DB from Eastern Illinois, might be a starter this year next to Eric Reed. Can play. All right. Uh, your boy JC, people. Your boy JC, people forget we got a 4-star Roger Gradney from Nebraska who can play safety. Linebacker dude was insane in high school. EA say 5-7. Adrian Crook said EA forget y'all record. Joseph Davis said they signed another quarterback from Tampa this evening. All right. I'm gonna have to check that out. Your boy Jay said the swag's up. We can definitely win 8 or 9 games, but realistically, 6 or 7 is the range. I say the same thing in terms of 6 or 7. But that's it for this live stream. If I would have started it earlier, I'd have let it last longer. But the poll in terms of in the chat, I'm gonna shut it down after tomorrow. It looks like selection A Jaguar Talk is winning. Y'all be certain to vote by noon later on today. But I'm gonna catch y'all on the rebound. I appreciate everybody that came through and showed some love. I'm gonna drop a video later on today, and I'm gonna be on my brother Jared Love and Green channel. I'm gonna catch y'all on the rebound. Y'all have a blessed, phenomenal evening. Peace and blessings to the family. Salute to the awesome and amazing LDBC. Salute to Jaguar Nation. And go Jags, you dig?